masyado kasi nagsha-shadow yung dito mo.
Okay.
Yan, yan. Huwag mo masyadong, pag ginaganon mo, ayun na, nagsha-shadow. Ayan, ganyan, pag ganyan.
Sa ano lang. Last 40.
Okay.
Let's go.
Last 30.
Kingdom of Jesus Christ founder and pastor Apolio Kibuloy has been declared wanted by the FBI, but the Justice Department says it has yet to receive any request to extradite him. Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez discusses the main drivers behind the country's inflation. Fewer areas are now under granular lockdown. Vaccination of children aged 5 to 11 will push through on Monday, despite calls to stop pediatric vaccinations. And the second day of the bar exams is about to begin. Focused and fearless, here's everything you need to know to jumpstart your weekend. I'm Riza Diaz. The Justice Department has yet to receive any request to extradite Kingdom of Jesus Christ founder and pastor Apolio Kibuloy after being declared wanted in the United States. Justice Secretary Minardo Guevara said that extradition cannot be done without an official request. Guevara added that the process for extraditing Kibuloy is governed by the extradition treaty between the Philippines and the U.S. In the meantime, Guevara said that the DOJ will study the legal basis if it can issue an immigration lookout bulletin order or a precautionary hold departure order against Kibuloy. Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez says that there are two main drivers for the increase in the country's inflation rate. The details in this video from Bloomberg Markets Asia.
Let's take a look at inflation as that headline crossed earlier today. I'm just wondering, do you see at all the possibility of inflation re-emerging as a threat to the Philippine economy?
Well, there are sources of inflation last year, and we believe for the coming year are really two sources. One is food inflation, and what drove our inflation rate last year was the price of pork. We were hit by African swine fever, and actually what the government did was we opened up the imports of pork, and that mitigated the rise of prices of pork, and that's why we have a lower inflation rate for January. However, we're looking at the prices of fuel and watching it very carefully, and we are anticipating the softening of fuel prices, and I think that will be good for our inflation outlook.
Inflation continues the biggest worry for central banks around the world. The Fed getting ready for a lift-off. We saw the BOE raising rates yet again. I'm just wondering, given expectations of tighter financial conditions, can the Philippines remain or keep its loose monetary policy?
Well, at the moment, as we have announced, the Philippine government has actually reduced its debt from our central bank from 500 billion pesos to 300 billion, and that's about 5.9 billion US dollars, and we expect to pay it by the end of this year. Of course, we are watching very carefully the trends of interest rates around the world. And we do, however, are confident that we can handle some increase in interest rates since our interest rate payments as a percentage of our GDP are quite a bit lower than those of our rating peers, especially our neighbors in ASEAN.
You talked about how you are comfortable with some increase in interest rates. What might that level be?
I'm not going to predict that, but essentially, we do anticipate tightening and rate increases, and we are not that worried unless, of course, they start spiking abroad. But I think that's not likely.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. The PNP reports that areas under granular lockdown nationwide decreased to around 480. In yesterday's Laging Handa briefing, PNP spokesperson Jean Fajardo said that the Cordilleras logged the most number of areas under lockdown with 390, followed by Cagayan Valley with 81. Fajardo also said that majority of quarantine violators are from NCR.
Nasa 10,000 na po ang kabuuan nationwide at karamihan po dyan, ma'am, ay doon sa NCR po, ma'am. Nasa almost 12,000 na po, ma'am, ang nawarningan at almost 3,600 na po, ma'am, ang nagbayad po ng fine.
The vaccination for children aged 5 to 11 is set to begin tomorrow. The first batch of reformulated Pfizer vaccines for children under this age group arrived on Friday night. The Air Hong Kong flight carried 780,000 pediatric vaccines procured by the national government through the World Bank. Recall that the vaccine rollout for children 5 to 11 years old was delayed due to logistical challenges encountered in the shipment of the jabs. Now, with the arrival of the vaccines, the National Vaccination Operations Center said the vaccination for this age group will proceed on Monday. This is despite a petition halting the immunization for children against COVID-19. NVOC head Dr. Kiza Rosario said that around 500,000 children are expected to be vaccinated. Meanwhile, day 2 of the 2020-2021 bar examinations will begin in a few minutes. Bar examinees queued early in front of the University of Santo Tomas during the second day of the bar exams. UST gates opened early as early as 4:30 in the morning, where examinees briefly removed their face mask and a face shield for identification purposes. UST is just one of the several bar venues for this year's examinations. Health protocols have been in place to protect examinees and proctors, such as requiring antigen or RT-PCR tests for bar takers before the first day of exams. However, bar examinees are no longer required to submit another antigen test today, as they already presented their results on February 4. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 9 in the morning as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now, www.signalplay.com, and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.